guys, it's Caleb. I figured out how to sleep in on a weekday, risked everything to get the mail, and miserably continued learning to ski. And that's just the past week. So, welcome back to the second episode of the Chillin with Caleb podcast. So, it's nice to be here. I mean, I'm kind of just sitting in my basement right now, but it's still nice to be here. I haven't changed the niceness of it. So, as usual, I'm going to be talking about the topic, like what I've been doing this week, what I've watched, a couple funny stories, before shifting it into this week's topic, which is going to be revolving around school. So, this can basically range from anywhere. Mainly elementary. I have a story or two from middle school that I was going to tell. So, I have an entire sheet of notes here. So, I have to look at that. So, basically, I don't want to lose my train of thought here. I'll start off with what I did this week. So, of course, being quarantined, there's not that much stuff to do. Well, I'm being like half quarantined. It's for 2 days you're at home learning on the computer, and then for the next 2 school days you go into school and do it, while the other kids do it at home. It's pretty nice, but also kind of complicated with internet service and stuff, and we'll get into that later. But anyway, I do have a few stories, 3 that I'll tell you guys. Not all of them have to do with school, but basically, so the first one is, it basically takes place at around 10:30 in the day, and, well, during my class, I have my phone next to me in case of emergency. I don't use it, but I have it there, and I felt a buzzing noise, and I'm like, okay, someone's texting me. So without interrupting my class, I just see my mom's text me, okay, Caleb, can you get the mail whenever you have time? And I didn't want to answer back okay, because I didn't want to get distracted. But I knew after I was done with my class, I'd have to get the mail. So it's 10:30. I currently have 7 minutes until my next class starts. And I'm like, you know, it just snowed a lot outside, but I can risk it. I can go get the mail. So I take my boots on and get my coat, and I'm walking down the driveway. It's freezing, by the way. And I have to really, really watch out for ice, because I don't want to die or anything. But I'm walking down the driveway, and the mailbox is across the street and everything. So I get over there, and the mailbox is empty. Because apparently, my mom got it out without even telling me. Because basically, what had happened was, I didn't text her back because I didn't want to waste time. I knew I'd have to get to a class after that. So I rushed out to get the mail for nothing. Because I didn't respond to her saying, okay, I'll get the mail now, she took it as, okay, I should do it myself. Because normally I do say, okay, I will right now, see ya, and then I go out and get the mail. But I didn't this time, and that was my downfall. Yeah, we actually had a good amount of snow this week. Like, basically, I say basically a lot. There are a lot of things I say a lot, like a lot. And, like, also, like, I should probably try to stop saying the same things, not the same things, but the same phrases over and over and over and over and over. But anyway, you've got to be kidding me. So, I'm losing my train of thought here. Okay, so, it was snowy outside, and we figured to test out, in case we ever had to do it, because we only have 3 snow days, and we already used up 2 of them back in December. That could be another story sometime. I don't know. So, basically, we only had 1 left, and in case there was ever a big thing, we knew we'd have to save our snow day. But we actually had an all-virtual day this week. It was just basically like a replacement for a snow day, where everyone would go on their computers. It was a lot like what we did the previous year, except it was a lot more organized. The year before this, we were actually just able to, like, we only had 1 or 2 Google Meets a day, and the teacher would, like, spontaneously say, okay, we do it at this time, in the beginning of the day, and, like, we'd have a weekly assignment. We wouldn't have nightly homework, or every 2 nights. Like, my teachers would give us all our homework. Most of our teachers would give us all our homework on Monday, and then we'd have the entire week to do it. And I liked that, because I could use different days to do different things, and it was neat. I liked it. And today we were going back to that, except we really had a schedule, because we had to actually start a schedule when we were doing it this year because we're doing it synchronously with kids who are in the building, so we kind of had to. And we still kept our schedule, so not much really changed because I was supposed to be home that day anyway. Friday was also a virtual half day. It was the end of the quarter. So it was nice. I got a half day to start off the weekend. That was pretty fun. We got dismissed earlier, like around 10 o'clock, so that was pretty nice. I got a really long day at home. I only had 2 classes in the beginning of the day. What else? So, I decided, you ever have trouble sleeping in? You like to sleep in on a weekend. I've only started getting into that in 2020 because I started staying up a lot later, and I love the satisfaction of sleeping in. I sleep in until the very last minute on any day that I'm at home because I don't have to go and get on the bus and everything. I can just walk downstairs to go to my class. So a lot of the time, I stay in bed until like 7:10, and that's pretty nice. So I get to just sleep in. But I figured it still doesn't really feel like really sleeping in because I go to bed around 9:30, 10 o'clock, maybe 10:30 most days. So I'm going to bed, and I think this was Wednesday night, and I realized, it would be really nice if I could sleep in on a weekday. But I knew I wouldn't be able to because I have to get up no later than 7:10. So what I decided to do was I decided to give myself the feeling of sleeping in. I set an alarm for 5 o'clock in the morning to make it feel like I would have to make it feel like I would have to wake up at 5, and then I could feel like, oh nice, I can go back to sleep. So I decided to do that, and turns out it really made me tired in the morning. Like, it took more than usual to get out of bed, and that is saying something. I still did it again the next night, and it's a nice feeling at the time. So it's not as great of a feeling actually waking up, but it gets me a lot more refreshed for the school day. So that's good. I'm going to try out more and see if this experiment really works. So stay tuned for next podcast next week to see how that goes. Here's my final story. So, remember last week how I was talking about going skiing in gym class? Well, we did it again. I think this is the last day of skiing for us because I'm pretty sure we're switching to snowshoeing. I don't know. I don't know what sports stuff. I'm not a sports expert. And something called snowshoeing. So anyway, it was our last day skiing. The snow was a lot worse that day. So, it was a lot more solid. It was harder to make paths. And the stuff that wasn't solid was literally no snow. There was this really patchy field of snow on the big hill that we normally go down. So it was kind of not that fun. I kept falling over, and I didn't really like it that time. I might try skiing again sometime, but I don't know if it's really something for me. I liked it, sort of, the first day. The second day, I didn't. And I only even got to do it 2 out of the 3 times we were doing it because I was sick the first week. Well, I wasn't sick, but someone in my class was sick. And because of the whole quarantining and stuff, I had to stay home for a week. So that was not that fun. This was early January. Alright, so I didn't watch that much new stuff this week. I watched the most recent WandaVision episode, and oh my goodness, I loved it. You got to see a lot of older characters from past movies in the MCU return, and it was really cool. It took place over the course of the first 3 episodes, but from a completely separate point of view, and that's what I liked about it. And I really it explained basically every loose end from the first 3 episodes, why it's all happening. What was this thing in that one episode? What was that? There's still some stuff that I'm curious, and I'm really interested to see where the show goes next. So, now I think it's time to shift into the school topic. That will be the rest of this video, this podcast. Oh, and one other thing I did this week. I finally released a video that I made in October. Because I made it on this school MacBook. Or I planned to edit it on this MacBook. And I had done a few videos on there. And it was a really slow computer. So I had to get the files off there. I deleted them off my phone. and import them onto this computer. And I finally got around to uploading that video. It was the one where I quizzed my dad on my YouTube channel. It took I had a lot of trouble exporting. Since I'm not perfect at it, and I was having a bit of trouble finding a file to export it as, a type of file. And so, yeah. Alright, that's everything I did this week. On to the school topics. Yay, school. So, I'll just go in order of my notes here. So, here's a fun story. I've actually done videos for my school. I've done a couple different ones. Like, not just videos that take place in school, like that Tommy one. I've actually made videos for my school, and it's nice, because I like that people respect my talent in YouTube making. And I wouldn't even say I got too much incredible talent until 2019, maybe? I don't know. I didn't do great older videos. But now that I have this PC, by the way, have I even brought that up? I have a PC now, and it is sweet. I got the whole Adobe stuff. I got all that cool stuff. So, I mainly, I do this video each year where I only actually really did it once. So here, let me explain. A couple years ago, the staff of my school started doing these little videos they'd show at the end of the year. And it was like all these teachers lip syncing to a song that was either popular or just fit the end of the year happiness. It was all sorts of stuff. Like, I don't remember what songs they did. They did Can't Stop the Feeling, is that what it was called? And a couple other ones, different years. Like, one of the ones I did was This Is Gonna Be the Best Day of My Life. That one. And basically, the first year I did it, which was 4th grade, I believe, I didn't actually do much of it. I didn't get as much as I was promised. And my dad did most of it. And, yeah, I still got the credit. I did some parts of it. He was just mainly better at it than I was. And then the next year, I actually went around the school during my lunch periods and stuff, and I filmed stuff for it, and it was fun. I think I filmed some shots that weren't in the final video because it was more rainy, a rainy, humid day, and I went around the school with my friend Connor just filming stuff, and filming the playground and stuff. Yeah, it didn't get in the final cut, but it was cool. I got to go around school filming with my friend, not something you get to do every day. So, what else? But then I actually got to go around with the principal and film stuff that week for a couple weeks. Got to film the teachers doing stuff. Just funny little things like the gym teachers threw some basketballs into hoops and that kind of stuff. And it was cool. I liked editing it. Me and my dad, I don't remember, we argued a bit. We had some creative differences. The video gets presented at the end of the year assembly. And basically, my dad stayed up late, doing the final touches, and then we looked over it in the morning together. This is the day it was shown. We got it, and yeah, it was really fun. And here's a more sad part. Not really sad, just unfortunate. So, it was the very last day of school, and we're showing the video to the class, to the entire students, everyone in the gymnasium. And did I really just say the full word gymnasium? Weird. So basically, the computer teacher, when we did a computer lab class, she presented the video to the class, and we were gonna say at the very end, this was edited by Caleb. If you want to see more of his cool stuff, and she'd changed to a tab of my YouTube channel that was presenting on the screen. But instead, before we even watched the video, we accidentally just randomly had my YouTube channel on there. And people like to tell me when something that has to do with me is somewhere. Whenever my dad, because he works at my school, and whenever he walks into a building or into the classroom, everyone will be like, Caleb, that's your dad's here. And it was the same case here. Hey, Caleb, that's your YouTube channel. Yeah, I wonder why my YouTube channel was on there. Not like it was a failed plan to advertise. And yeah, that was a kind of interesting story. There was the other video I did for school. I didn't really fully do it, but I helped. So, in 5th grade, this was a really fun time. We had a professional filmmaker. He did like a TV show or something. He came up, and each of the 5th grade classes, he helped do a little short film on how to stop bullying. And our whole theme we wanted to do was superheroes. So, I can't actually upload the video on YouTube because I need a lot of permissions. I need permission from each person who starred in it, and that would take a while, and I don't feel like doing that. I don't feel like getting in contact with 20 people. I'm an introvert, and I'm proud. Okay, no, I'm not, but anyway, so I basically, well, I'll go over the plot of it after I say a couple things relating to the behind-the-scenes work. So, like, we were all writing it as a class, and we got to do auditions for who wanted to play roles in it. There were some kids who were, like, filming or moving the dolly camera, or actually there was different kids directing it. And so what I did, I'm like, hey, I want to be an actor in this. So I participated in our class auditions. And it was basically, you just say your name in a funny voice or something, or some accent, or anything, really. So I decided to go, Caleb McGrath! And we were joking that I was like a mad scientist or something, so we decided to incorporate that in the video. So I'll go over the video in audio form for you guys. So basically, it starts off in the middle of the hallway. There's a kid who has his arm broken, and he feels down because he can't go out to recess or do anything fun. So, I don't know if this really counted as bullying. I don't know, maybe a bully punched him in the arm or something. I don't know the context. But it was like, I guess if you're not helping them, you're kind of bullying them. So one kid who's played by one of my good friends, his name is Connor, he's like, he needs my help. Time to change into my super suit. So he runs out into the bathroom, and he changes, well, of course it's not shown, but he's changing into, you'll see. And these two other kids are like, hey, what's wrong? He's like, I broke my arm. Well, how about we go to the library together or something? That could be fun. Yeah, so they walk along peacefully. And then my friend runs in wearing a Spider-Man suit, and he says, I'm here to save the... Where the heck did everyone go? And it was a funny little thing. It was showing, like, you don't need the super suit to be a good friend and a hero to somebody. You don't need to be a superhero to be a hero. That was the theme enforced throughout the entire thing. And like, I think the reason that it counted as bullying was because, like, someone knocked his stuff out of his hands or something. So these kids came over and picked it up and decided to do something nice to him. So my friend enters too late, and then it's a transition to a completely unrelated next scene. And it's basically in the middle of a classroom. Everyone's at their lockers. We had these really tiny little lockers in 5th grade. Like, it was probably a foot in terms of depth, and the size of it is no bigger than this PC monitor that I'm talking into right now. Well, I'm talking into a mic, but you know what I mean. And there were little things, and someone slammed someone else's locker, and while another kid is like, oh no, they need my help, time to activate my superpowers, and then all of a sudden he starts shooting lightning out of his hands like it's Star Wars or something. Well, it was red lightning, but it's like all flying out of his hands and shaking the entire room around, showing that, like, this kid's trying to help by being a superhero, and he makes things worse. So these other kids are saying, like, hey, you shouldn't do that. You could have hurt this person, to the bully who slammed the locker, not the kid with the lightning. And they help calmly, and they help the kid out, and yay, it's nice. So it's showing again that you don't need to be a superhero to be a hero. Then here's the final scene, the grand finale, where yours truly stars in it. And basically, it's at the science fair, and I'm upset because no one is coming over to my exhibit. Rocks! Check out the wonderful life of rocks! So, I'm basically, I'm upset. No one's looking at my exhibit. So, I get angry. I mean, I, being not the greatest writer back then, shoehorned something in saying, like, so how about I drink my water, but it's actually mad serum from the chemistry exhibit. Even though it kind of ruins the point, because it's saying, like, oh, this is mad serum. And then the second later, there's another caption saying, in comic book style, saying, embarrassment makes him angry. So that could have been the explanation. I don't need to do some really stupid mad serum thing. If it's literally within 20 seconds, two different things contradicting each other. Yeah, I wasn't a great writer back then. But anyway, so I'm going around wrecking everyone's exhibits. I'm a mad scientist, doing the evil laugh. I'm destroying everything. Then the kid in the Spider-Man suit, who isn't wearing a Spider-Man suit anymore, and the kid with the Force lightning, they're like, well, he needs our help. Wait, he's not a mad scientist, he's one of us. So they're walking over, and then some of the bystanders who ended up being the ones who actually helped the kids in need, they also are like, hey, can we help? No, we got this, but maybe they could join us. So eventually the entire class is walking over to me saying, like, hey, that's a great exhibit you got there. Oh, that's an awesome project on rocks. You should be the president someday. That's actually something someone said. Thank you. It was in regards to my rock exhibit, but still thank you. And anyway, so I guess the moral of that story is, you don't need to be a supervillain to be a villain. Just kidding, no. But yeah, that was a neat little video. Wasn't absolutely perfect because of that stupid plot hole I added in. And I think the entire mad scientist thing was added in the last 2 days just because everyone liked my part. And yeah, that's basically the video. It was pretty fun to make. I could probably post something from my scene just without showing everyone in it. I could probably figure out a way around it. Maybe do something relating to it. I don't know. So that's all of that. I took like 10 minutes to get over just a couple stories. This is going to be a long podcast. So another story is just in regards to doing online school. Not really funny, but I just want to talk about it because here's the annoying thing. We have to use our school Chromebooks when we get on the Google Meets, and it is the service on those things. It is horrible. It's like anytime you're in a Google Meet, it takes you 2 minutes to load anything else. I have to say, hey teacher, can I close the Meet so I can open up this document that you told us to do? And it gets annoying because I have to do it like once every at least 2 classes. And like if we ever have to watch a YouTube video for an assignment, I have to pull it up on my phone or something because it gets like YouTube does not work on this computer and it's annoying. I don't like it. I know I'm kind of acting whiny here, but I did not like it. I don't like online school. It's nice having some break times. And like when my mom's babysitting my nephew Lucas, I can walk upstairs and that's nice. I like that kind of parts of it. I can see the baby and stuff. But I don't like the actual computer I do it on. And it gets in the way of everything. So, that's that. So, what else? Oh, here's a funny story. In 5th grade, I was at the we had a school spelling bee for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. I think there was a different spelling bee for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, but they were all in the same assembly. And basically, I had been doing really good. I kept spelling every word correct. And I got into the final 3. And then my principal, who was the one doing the stuff, he says, Caleb, spell axis. Now, in context, I'm talking about axis, as in, like, I don't know, the pole thing on the Earth. Like, as in, the Earth spinned on its axis. On its axis. I'm pronouncing it wrong, because of the context you'll understand later. But basically, then the next thing, I take it wrong. I don't understand he said axis, as in the Earth spins on its axis. I took it as, may I have access? I'm pronouncing it wrong and ruining the point. I took it as, can I have access into the building? So I spelled the word access right, but I didn't spell axis right. And I didn't think of using it in a sentence, or asking for it to be used in a sentence, because I hadn't not known what I thought I knew what the word was, but I was thinking of a different word. And I know axis is spelled A-X-I-S. If I realized what word he was saying, I would have been able to pronounce it lickety-split. But I didn't even know the word, so that was kind of a problem there. So, yeah, that was really disappointing. I still have a trophy that I got third place, so that's good. So, what else? Speaking of, we were talking about science fairs a couple minutes ago with the video, the rock exhibit. I actually did a cool exhibit there, and I talked about A Wonderful Life of Rocks. Just kidding, no, I did a really cool experiment. I wouldn't say it's really cool, but I liked it, because I got to do a little video for it that I set on a computer in the classroom, or in the gym. So what I had done was I basically tested if bread goes bad fastest in the cabinet, the fridge, or the freezer. Because it was kind of to solve a debate my parents had. And I don't know if either of them actually thought the freezer worked, but I put it in there anyway for a third option. And I basically took a picture of each piece of bread at 7 in the morning, each day for 28 days. And I named it Our Daily Bread, which, if you know the reference, it's like a biblical thing. You'll understand it, and it was actually a really clever title. And so yeah, that's that. And people actually looked at my exhibit, and they thought they took my advice. It works best in the fridge. Was that it? Let's hope that's it, because if you're listening to this podcast without knowing my science fair thing, I might have just given you the wrong info. No, it was the fridge. I have the video for it uploaded on my YouTube channel. Just look up SpongeFan Studios, Our Daily Bread. I put it on there. So if you ever want to check it out, I'll link it in the description. So, yeah, that's all that. And so that was the science fair. People actually listened, because apparently my dad has had people tell him I started putting my bread in the freezer, or no, not in the freezer, in the fridge. I'm forgetting my own thing. I knew this would happen because of Caleb's exhibit. So yeah, that's cool. I did a couple really cool field trips in elementary school. Well, I'll get on to the field trips later, because this is the part that I want to save for the end of the video, because it's my favorite story of them all. So I'll tell one more thing about the playground. I was on the school playground, and basically, they have this cool little rock you can climb up. Well, they have 3 different playgrounds. There's one that I absolutely loved. We always got to go on it in morning recess. Sometimes the teacher would let us on it at the end of the day if we had time. And it was basically like, it was kind of themed around a castle or something. Like, there was a sword in the stone kind of thing. No one ever pulled it out, but, so that's sad, because it was fake. And there was a zip line. I don't know if it had to do with the castle, but that was awesome. That thing was awesome. And what else? So there was some really cool slides, but there was this climbing rock. The rock didn't climb, you climbed on it. You could go onto it, and then there were 3 ropes that would go over to the main part of the playground. There were 2 railing ropes, one you'd walk on, and some other ropes connecting them. And basically, here's a really sad story. It was morning recess, and there was dew everywhere. Morning dew. Not to be confused with Mountain Dew. That just made me thirsty. So I'm walking around, and I go on there, and I slip on the rope and fall. I'll leave it up to your imagination what part of my body the rope hit, 'cause this is a kid-friendly channel. Anyway, next story. Field trips. So, I was in the drama club in 4th and 5th grade. That was fun. The first year I was stage crew, and we did Willy Wonka. The second year I was an actor, and I was in Aladdin. And basically, the Aladdin musical, which was really cool. I'll get onto that later. We got to, basically, it incorporated some characters that were in deleted scenes of the movie, but basically the character had like a group of a few friends who were also street rats like him. And I played one of them. He was really funny. I liked his character. Basically, each year for the drama club, we get to actually go down to Broadway and watch the play we were basing our thing on. And this story was, well, I think in 5th grade. This isn't much of a story, but I'm just kind of giving context. We got to go to the M&M store. We didn't get to get M&Ms, but we went to the M&M store. So that's fun, because it's the M&M store. And we also got some really delicious New York pizza. That was good. I want to go back. I don't know where we got it. I bet if I just walked in the building, I could remember. I have a kind of photographic memory. I don't know if I've ever talked about it. I feel like I talked about it in the last episode and I'm forgetting. I guess I don't have that good of a memory. Another thing is, now here's the story I wanted to end it off with. We were going to the Bronx Zoo for our field trip. It was going to take all day. We left school at like 6:30 in the morning. We got home at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Why did we get home at like 9:30, 10 o'clock? You're about to find out. So, we had a bus driver, and turns out he was the substitute bus driver. We were riding in like a tour bus, my group. A good quarter of the kids in the 3rd grade. And my mom was a chaperone there, and my friend's dad was also a chaperone there. So we were on the bus, and all of a sudden, I think the bus crashed right as we were entering. It didn't crash. It, like, hit something. A sign or something. Because the bus driver, I don't know, I think he was tired or something. Because I'm pretty sure that was a 2nd bus drive in a row. Like, he had done another drive overnight previously. I don't think it was to the Bronx Zoo, because I don't know many people who go to the Bronx Zoo at night. I think it closes. But you get my point. He was tired because he had already driven a bus like immediately before, and this wasn't even the right bus driver. He was a sub. So the Bronx Zoo trip itself, like being there, that was fun. It was boiling hot, but it was fun. So basically, we had gone around, and when we got back, the bus driver was sitting in a lawn chair in the parking lot right next to our bus. And like I said, it was really hot outside. I don't know how the guy stood it. And I guess he didn't either. So we're getting in the bus, getting ready to leave, making sure everyone's here. Hey, are you here? Yep, you're here. Yep. Okay, everyone's here. Bus driver, are you here? He had fainted on the ground from all the hot weather. Oh my goodness, it was kind of scary. It wasn't really scary, but he had passed out on the ground. I think he was bleeding. I don't like blood. I don't want to get into that part of the story that much. But basically, so we're like, oh crap, we don't have a bus driver. Well, we did. He was just unconscious. But still, we didn't really have a bus driver that could drive the bus. When he got up, he kept insisting he could, but he obviously couldn't. So we had to stay in the restaurant of the zoo. They had to stay open late because this 3rd grade class didn't have a bus driver. We had to wait for a new bus driver to drive all the way down. We were getting ready to go to, I think it was McDonald's, so that would have been awesome. We got to go to McDonald's, but we didn't. We had to eat in the place, singing some songs or something. I didn't really like it. I didn't want to sing along with the songs, I think. I don't remember. Or did I? I mean, it was like a song about the United States. So, yeah, I wanted to sing that because I like learning about the states and what each one is. I was probably the only one who knew the song before we started learning it in music class. And then we sang it and a couple other songs. I don't remember, but we passed the time. It wasn't that fun. It was like dark when we were going back. A new bus came at like 7 o'clock. So we got home really late because the Bronx Zoo was like 3 hours from our school. So that was not a very fun experience. We had to get our entire trip back delayed because this bus driver was sitting in the 90-degree heat on a lawn chair reading a book all day. And, it was crazy. It was crazy. That was definitely one of my most insane experiences from all of school, and I don't think I could probably do another school episode down the line, but I don't know if another thing could top that. That was crazy. So, that's basically all I have for you guys today, and look at that, this is about as long as the last one, 35 minutes. I'm gonna assume this is gonna be the normal length for podcasts of my show. So, I guess that's really all I have for you guys today. I'll see you at the next episode of Chillin' with Caleb. Caleb, out.